If you're getting older and it feels like people are slowly disappearing from your life, listen to me for a moment. Because there's a quiet fear nobody likes to say out loud. What happens when the phone stops ringing? When the people you built your identity around, your role, your usefulness, your place in their lives, aren't there anymore? Most people distract themselves from that question. They stay busy, they stay loud, they stay surrounded, but the fear doesn't go away. It just waits. So stay with me to the end, because I'm going to give you 4 pillars that keep a person psychologically intact as they grow older. And the third one, that's the one that makes people go very quiet, because it exposes the real reason aging feels terrifying for so many. I'm not here to comfort you with cliches. I'm here to tell you the truth. Old age is not only a physical change, it's a psychological test. Kant said something brutal: you must become a law unto yourself. In plain language, that means this: if your peace depends on other people staying, approving, or needing you, you will suffer. But if your peace comes from your inner ground, you become unshakable. When we're young, we lean on relationships like crutches, and in old age, life removes those crutches, not to punish us, but to reveal what's real. This is the season where you discover which connections were love and which were just attachment. Kids move out, friends drift, a partner can feel like a stranger, and that's when people panic. They grab for noise, attention, company, anything to avoid the emptiness. But here's the twist, that emptiness is not the enemy, it's the doorway. Pillar 1, you must learn to be alone without turning it into suffering. And I'm going to say this plainly because nobody tells you the truth when you're older. Loneliness isn't just, I don't have people around. Loneliness is when you're not at peace with yourself. So the silence feels like a threat. That's why 2 people can live in the same empty house and have completely different lives. One person experiences quiet like a prison. The other experiences it like a sanctuary. I want you to picture a woman in a quiet apartment. It's evening, the sun is going down, the world outside is busy, but her space is calm. She sits by the window with a book and a cup of tea. She turns one page, then another, and she's not waiting for someone to call. She's not scrolling her phone like a life support machine. She's not bargaining with the universe like, please, just send me somebody. She's simply there, and that's the part most people don't understand. She's not running from solitude, she's filling it with meaning, because being alone is not the tragedy. The tragedy is being alone and feeling like you're abandoned by life, like you've been removed from the world, like your value expired when people stop needing you. That's what turns silence into suffering. But when you build an inner relationship with yourself, when you learn how to sit in your own presence without panic, something changes inside your body. Not just your mind, your body, your nervous system stops begging for rescue. That's real freedom. When your nervous system stops searching for someone else to save you from your own presence. And I know for a lot of people that sounds impossible, because your whole life you were trained to be useful, to be needed, to be the helper, the provider, the caretaker, the one who holds the family together. So when the roles fade, it can feel like you fade. But listen, you are not fading. You are being called back to yourself. This pillar isn't about rejecting love or becoming cold. It's about refusing to make other people your oxygen. It's about learning to breathe in your own life again. So here's the question, and I want you to answer it honestly, even if the answer stings. When you're alone, do you feel peace? Or do you feel like you're being punished? Because if being alone feels like punishment, it's not proof that you're broken, it's proof you've never been taught how to belong to yourself. And that can be learned. Slowly, gently, one evening at a time. Now here's where most people fail. They try to fix loneliness with people, but ignore the second pillar. Pillar 2, your day needs structure. And no, this is not about becoming rigid, boring, or turning your life into a checklist. It's about survival, because chaos on the outside slowly becomes chaos on the inside, especially as you get older. When life was crowded with work, children, noise, and obligations, disorder hid in the background. But when things quiet down, disorder gets loud. Order is not just cleaning. Order is emotional hygiene. When you organize your space, you are not just moving objects, you are sending a signal to your nervous system. I am in control of my environment. I am safe here. I've seen this again and again. People with closets full of old clothes they haven't worn in decades, broken lamps they keep meaning to fix, drawers stuffed with letters, photos, objects from lives that no longer exist, and they call it sentimental. They say, I might need this someday. I can't throw that away, it reminds me of someone. But here's the truth most people avoid very often. That's not nostalgia, it's grief that never had a place to go. So it's settled into the furniture. Every object you keep carries weight. Every unfinished corner quietly asks something of you. And when your home is full of emotional residue, your mind never fully rests. That's why some people wake up tired in a clean bed, not because of age, but because they are surrounded by the past, asking to be remembered, processed, mourned. The past can become a burden so heavy it steals your present. Order creates rhythm, and rhythm creates dignity. Waking up at a consistent time, eating at regular hours, making your bed, clearing one surface, lighting a candle at night, putting things back where they belong. These are not small acts, they are grounding rituals. They tell your inner world life still has shape. My days still matter. Without rhythm, time becomes a blur. Days leak into each other, and, slowly, meaning dissolves. This is why people who say nothing is wrong still feel restless and anxious. Their environment is speaking a language of chaos, even if their words deny it. So I want to ask you something, and don't rush the answer. What is one thing in your home you have kept for years that secretly drains you every time you see it? Something you avoid touching. Something that carries a memory you never finished feeling. You don't have to throw everything away today, but you do have to stop pretending disorder is harmless. Because once you build rhythm and order, once your outer world stops pulling at your attention, you'll start to notice the next trap. A trap that has nothing to do with objects and everything to do with other people. And that's where Pillar 3 begins. Pillar 3, you must stop living under other people's eyes. And I'm telling you right now, this is the one that makes people uncomfortable because it exposes something most of us don't want to admit. A large part of your life has been performance. Not because you're fake, because you learned early that approval equals safety, so you became good, helpful, easy to love. You learned how to read the room, keep the peace, be the version of yourself that gets rewarded. But here's the brutal truth. If you need permission to be yourself, you will never be free. Real freedom is acting from your inner law, not from approval. And old age has a strange way of dragging this into the light. Because when your body changes, when your social role shifts, when your circle gets smaller, the audience thins out, and suddenly you're left with a terrifying question. If nobody is watching, who am I? Let me give you a simple example. There's a man in the neighborhood who argues with his wife every night. Raised voices, doors closing, that tense silence afterward. But the next morning, he's outside smiling like a politician, telling everyone, we're doing great, life is good. Why? Because other people's opinions are often just mirrors of their fear. Fear of being judged, fear of being seen, fear of admitting the truth, and that fear turns your whole life into a stage. You start making choices based on what will look right, what will keep people from talking, what will make your family proud, what will keep you from feeling ashamed. But listen closely, old age humiliates the need to impress. It humiliates it because the cost becomes too high. You can't keep proving yourself forever. You can't keep auditioning for love. You can't keep editing your truth so other people stay comfortable. And honestly, you shouldn't have to. There is a peace that arrives when you stop explaining, when you stop defending, when you stop trying to be understood by people who aren't even being honest with themselves. And I know some of you feel that guilt already. You think, if I disappoint them, I'll be alone. But if being accepted requires you to betray yourself, you were already alone. You were just surrounded. So I want to ask you a question that might hit you in the chest. What opinion are you still trying to outrun? Your family's, your community's, your ex's, your children's, or the harshest one of all, your younger selves, the one who thought life had to look a certain way to be worth living. Because the moment you stop living for their eyes, you finally come home to your own. And now we get to the deepest pillar, the one that decides whether your later years feel empty or sacred. Pillar 4, you must stay loyal to yourself, not your role, not your reputation, not what you used to be for other people. Your inner meaning. Because here's what no one prepares you for. As you get older, the world slowly stops assigning you a purpose. You're not needed in the same ways. You're not praised the same ways. You're not called as often. And if your sense of worth came from being useful to everyone else, this stage of life can feel like you're disappearing. But you are not disappearing. You're being asked to choose yourself on purpose, without applause. And this is where most people get it wrong. They think meaning has to be big, a grand mission, a dramatic comeback story, a new relationship, a new identity. No. In old age, meaning is usually built in small, sacred acts. I want you to picture a woman who puts on lipstick every morning, even if nobody is coming. Not because she's trying to impress anyone, because she refuses to treat herself like she doesn't matter. She makes coffee just to smell the morning. That smell is her way of saying, I'm still here. This day is real. She reads poems out loud to her cat. And it sounds silly until you realize what she's really doing. She's keeping her inner world alive. She's feeding the part of her that still feels beauty. Some people grow tomatoes, not for the harvest, but for the care. Because tending something living gives the soul a reason to wake up. Some people stretch every morning so the body doesn't become a prison. They're not training for anyone, they're keeping a promise to themselves. I will not abandon my own body. Some people write one paragraph a day so the day doesn't disappear. Because when time moves fast, writing is how you leave proof you existed. One sentence can be a lighthouse. And I need you to hear this clearly. These things look small, but they are rebellion. They are rebellion against the story that says, if no one is watching, it doesn't count. They are rebellion against the idea that your value expires when your social role fades. They are your soul saying, I still matter. And when you stay loyal to yourself in these simple ways, something powerful happens. You stop waiting for life to start again. You stop begging for meaning from other people. You become the source. So here's what I want from you, because I know someone listening needs permission. Tell me your one small ritual that makes life feel real. Is it making your bed, lighting a candle, taking a slow walk, playing one song you love, writing a few lines, watering a plant? Drop it in the comments. I read them, and you never know who you'll help feel less alone. So here's what aging is really asking from you. Be alone without misery. Build order and rhythm. Stop living for judgment. Stay loyal to your inner meaning, because old age is not the end. It's not a punishment. It's the moment life strips away what's temporary, roles, noise, approval, even certain relationships, so you can finally meet what's true. And what's true is this: you were never meant to survive on other people's attention. You were meant to become rooted in yourself. Freedom isn't no constraints. Freedom is living from your inner law, even when the world gets quiet, even when nobody claps, even when you don't feel needed anymore. For as Kant said, man must be a law unto himself, not a slave to external influences. If this hit you, write "I choose myself" in the comments. And tell me which pillar you're building first, 1, 2, 3, or 4. Because the moment you choose yourself, this chapter stops being a loss and starts becoming your most honest life.